I think the reforms announced by the Prime Minister is not enough. They are minor concessions precisely because it actually affects only one provision within a larger law, the Printing Presses and Publications Act, which actually controls print media in Malaysia in particular. It doesn't just control print media, it also controls, that law also controls licensing for printing presses. It controls permits for print media. It also controls all forms of publications, which also includes books, music, videos, articles, journals, etc. So it's actually quite a comprehensive law, and the Prime Minister has mentioned that he's asking for one aspect of the law to be amended, which is if you already have a license, or if you're asking for a license and you're granted one, you do not have to renew it every year. That's all. So in many ways it affects you only if you get the permit from the government. If you don't get the permit, then it totally doesn't affect you anymore. What he's referring to, of course, Section 5 of the Printing Presses and Publications Act, which grants permits. So the power to grant the permit, the power to grant the permit application, to deny it, is still within the Home Minister. He hasn't touched anything on that in terms of the speech he did on the eve of Malaysia Day. He hasn't said anything about the absolute discretion of the Home Minister to issue the permit. So all these, in other words, whatever decisions the Home Minister made with regard to permits issued to print media, it's not challenged, it's not being able to challenge in court. There's no ouster clause in these laws. So you are left at the mercy of one person who holds so much power to decide whether or not your media can be printed or not. So I think that's why I say it's a very minor concession. It just doesn't address the larger issues. In and of itself, the details are not enough to flesh out what exactly, which aspect of Section 5 he wants to amend. And I think in and of itself, it certainly would not transform the media landscape in Malaysia.